Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to go over my top 5 tips to help you be successful on the TExES Core 291 exam. Now, if you like this video or videos just about this test, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That way I know to try to keep making videos about this and that are going to be helpful for you guys. But I also made a video that went over all the resources that I used that helped me pass on the first try. So if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below. So if you're studying for this test, if you know someone else who's studying for this test, go ahead and share it with them. That way, it helps them out, and then you're also helping me out too. So without further ado, let's just jump into the tips. So for tip number 1, and probably my most recommended tip, is to take this test before you start student teaching. Now, I know universities do it differently. I know some universities require you to take this before you start student teaching, which I think is awesome. So if your school does that, great. I also know some schools that require you to have 2 student teaching experiences. So whatever student teaching experience that you have, that you're going to be working Monday through Friday like a full-time teacher, take this test before that. This test is huge, and I think it requires a lot of your time and of your focus, but so does student teaching. Student teaching is an amazing experience, but it's also one of those experiences that it's going to show you how, I don't want to say draining because that's negative, but being a teacher, you make decisions every second of every day, and it is a very cognitive demanding job. So when you come home from student teaching, I think it's going to be hard for you to sit down and want to have the motivation to study and study the way that you kind of need to allow yourself to be successful on this test. So I would just recommend getting it done before you start student teaching. That way you can really focus on that and really put your love and your all into this experience, because it's an amazing experience, student teaching. So just save yourself the time, the energy, everything like that by taking this test before you start student teaching. Now for tip number 2, it might sound like common sense, but I didn't do this when I studied for my ESL and for my PPR, but that's to take a diagnostic test before you start studying for this test. That's really going to help show your weaknesses, your strengths. This test has 5 domains, and within those domains it has multiple competencies. So it's a lot, and you're going to want to know what domain or what competency you're best in, and then where you need to put your focus into to improve, to really make sure that you're able to pass this test. And you can do that by taking a diagnostic test. Now you can purchase programs that have diagnostic tests in there for you, or you can just buy a test for like $10 on the test's website. But regardless, I just recommend you take that before you start studying. That way you know where to focus your attention on and then where you don't really need to study for. For tip number 3, I would recommend you guys to time yourself taking each portion or each domain of this test. Each section of this test is going to have a time constraint, and then it's also going to have like a specific number of questions. So for reading, you'll have like an hour and some odd minutes to take about 75 questions or something like that. I don't really remember what it is exactly, but and that's the same for math, for social studies, for science, and for fine arts. So if your program doesn't already kind of self-time you and have those time constraints with the actual number of questions that you're going to have for the test, definitely get in the practice of doing that yourself. So pull out your phone, set a timer. I think it's really going to help y'all strategize for when you're actually taking the test. So tip number 4 kind of goes hand in hand with tip number 3, and that's to use flag review when you're actually taking this test. Now, some programs have flag review built in there, so that's really good practice, before you take the core exam. But on the actual test, there's a section for you to flag questions that you can, go back to later. Now, this is really going to help you. I found that it helped me the most in math, but honestly, it's going to help you in all domains. So I'm going to use my situation for math. So let's say I came across a question and I didn't know how to get started on the math problem, or I wasn't getting the right answer, and I found myself getting overwhelmed. I would just flag it for review and then keep going. That's gonna save you time in the end. You would rather put your time into the questions that you're confident about and the ones that you know how to do, and save the ones that you're a little bit tripped up on for last. You don't wanna waste any time during this test, especially in math, because it kind of takes some time doing the math problems. It's not like you get a calculator, so you have to do everything by hand. So flag review questions that you're unsure of, that you want to double check. It's a great test taking tool that this test offers, so definitely utilize it. That's how I utilized it for. I used it a lot in math for me to go back and solve ones that I was unsure of. But even for social studies and for science, if I wanted to really think through that one and I just didn't have the time to do it, I'd flag it for review, I'd keep going, and then once I finished all the questions, I'd go back to those. And I would make sure like, okay, I'm 100% confident about this one, or I'm not so much, let me like think about it for a little bit longer. Flag review is amazing and you should definitely use it. Now for tip number 5, I found this out after I had already taken my test, but I thought it was super cool, so I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you guys. And there's a way for you to, before you even register for your test or while you're registering for your test, for you to see when you'll get your results back. It's on the test registrations website, and I'll show y'all how to find it. I'll do like a little screen recording of it. So if you're on the Texas Educator Certification Examination Program website, if you click on exams and you go through, do the TExES, and then you look up 291, as you're scrolling through it, it'll have like format, it'll have the time of the test, and it breaks it down for you, exam dates, exam size, and under the section that says score reporting, you're able to see the score report dates, and when you click on that, it literally shows you, so the bracketed dates, if you take the TExES Core exam between this day and this day, you will get your results on this day. It's super cool. If you're anything like me and you get test anxiety after you take it and you just want to know immediately when you get your results back, this can help you because this will tell you the last date that you can take the exam or when you'll get your results back quickest. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you take the exam, let's say May 10th through May 15th, you'll find your test results back on May 17th, let's say. So if you were to take your test on May 10th, you're gonna have to wait a full week to get your results back. But if you saw on the score report date document that they have, if you take it on the 15th, then you only have to wait 2 days versus the week. So that's a little hack, I guess. I figured that out after I'd already taken the test, but I thought it was really cool to figure out, you know, when you'll get your results back. So just a little bonus tip, use the bathroom before you have to take this exam. There is no breaks. After you finish the first section, which is reading, you'll jump right into math, and then I'll jump right into the other one, and then you'll finish with fine arts. So there are no scheduled breaks. If you have to use the bathroom during the test, you'll have to use your time, which we all know your time is precious during this test. So definitely go to the bathroom before. Stay hydrated, but maybe just, don't overly drink water. That way you're not having to go to the bathroom all the time. Fair warning, they won't let you bring water bottles into the exam or a jacket. I brought a jacket and she didn't let me bring it in. So dress warm enough for when you're in there, you're not gonna freeze to death, but you're also not gonna sweat. So yeah, those are just, little things that I wish I knew before I went into this test. If you guys found these tips to be helpful in any way, please let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing that they were helpful or you really appreciated them or, just how they're working for y'all. So definitely let me know. If you're taking the TExES Core 291 exam, good luck. You'll do great, and I will catch y'all in my next one. Bye guys.